Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Tina here. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Today we're going to create some more Christmas cards. We're using a few items from Spellbinders. These are from the Spellbinders Glimmer Greetings collection, and I think they are fabulous, and we're going to break out the Glimmer machine. We're using the Plaid Tidings background Glimmer plate. It's one solid plate, and I love plaids during the holidays, and so we're going to be creating a background using this. I have my Glimmer machine heating off here, and I'm actually going to put this on here and get that ready to go. And while that's heating up, I am also going to be using, for my card project today, the Essential Diamonds, it's a nice nesting set, and I'm not sure how many there are here. There's 3, 6, 9, there's 12 diamonds in the set. Spellbinders also has essential circles and squares, and so I love that they came out with the diamonds. So we're going to be using this on our card today. I thought we would use this for our background and this also, but I wanted to bring in my Pie Perfection collection for today's projects. I waited until they were back in stock only because I didn't want to create something that you guys couldn't get a hold of. But so I thought we'd make some pies today, and with a glimmery background. So it just seems like forever that it's been since I've used the Glimmer machine. And I'm going to cut one more because we're going to do some sentiments. So let's put this over here. Easy peasy. Quick trimmers make life easier. Let's put this back. And when you get the quick trimmer, they come with the plastic sleeves, which is really nice. And I just use one of those clamp rings. I forget what you call them, but I just keep them together that way. It just makes it easier. It's been a while since I foiled, and I'm excited I get to do this. So my timer stopped flashing. This means I can put my foil face down, and then I'm bringing in stock right on top. And then I already have my spacer pad and my shim ready to go. I have a couple pieces of cardstock that to me work well with my die cutting machines. All are different. I would say just experiment with your sandwich until you get the best impression you can. Okay, let's lug that back in. We're going to do a little more foiling, and let's do the tone on tone reveal. Oh my goodness, I just think this is so pretty. If they had wrapping paper like this, I would buy it. I love this. Okay, we're going to do one more while my Glimmer plate is still hot. So I'll put my foil face down, another piece of pomegranate cardstock right over the top. And my card front panels are 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. And so it's going to completely cover my card base. Now I'm going to run this through once more. Usually while your plate is still hot, you can foil a couple times. And it foils beautifully, guys. There is no over foiling or any, well, maybe just a little bit here. But aren't they gorgeous? So pretty. Okay, that's all the foiling that I'm going to do with my pomegranate cardstock. Now I mentioned sentiment, so let me pick this plate up. I'm just going to put it on my cooling mat. This might be a little too heavy for my magnet because it's actually a nice weight. Now, I am going to set my timer, and then we're going to add some of our Holiday Sentiment Series 2. And I'm going to do seasons. I'm going to do a few at the same time. Joy to the World. If I want a foiled sentiment later on, they're all ready to go. That makes it really nice. Merry Christmas, 'tis the season, jingle all the way. There is a Bah Humbug, but I'm not going to use that. There's Fa La 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 too. Okay, I'm going to take some foil here. put it over my sentiments. And then I want to use white cardstock, a white cardstock panel, and we'll place this on the top. And by the time my machine's faster than I am. Isn't that how that is these days? I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cut machine, and I'll be right back. Okay, let's see what this does. Got a few upside down, but they foil beautifully. So we have some sentiments for our project today. Now let's look at this. Would be so nice if you could. I bet if you took a white liner sheet, look at. I bet if you took a white liner sheet, put this on there, and let me. You know what? Let me see if I could do that. This wasn't planned, but I wanted to see if we could do this. So I have a card front panel. That's all the foiling that we're going to do. So I'm going to turn my machine off and I'm going to set this aside. But I wanted to see if I could, this is so pretty. I wanted to see if I could foil the opposite end. Now I have some white liner sheets. These are from Funstampers Journey, but Spellbinders has white liner sheets too. And I'll link them down below in case you guys want to check it out. I might have a panel already covered. No. Let's try this. We're going to trim down the same size panel, and then we're going to go ahead and remove it. White liner sheets are double-sided adhesive sheets. So this is from Funstampers Journey, and I'll link them down below. I just trimmed down the same size card front panel. I'm going to put this on my card base, press it down really good, and then I'm going to remove the release paper off the top. So now our card front panel is sticky. Let's see if we can put this background and how this will go. We'll put this entire foil. Okay, so I put the white liner sheet on cardstock and I press down. I do have a few air bubbles. I don't know if you can tell right there that are not going away. I might need to put a little use a pin and poke that air out. That works. So use a straight pin to poke those air bubbles out. Now you could do this two ways. You could just trim around it and you get that beautiful shine, or you could lift it up. Now I'm not going to lift it up. I'm going to keep the entire foil piece on my cardstock, because if I lift it up, all the white areas will have adhesive. So I'm just going to use my paper trimmer. Let's trim this down. I trimmed it down so it was slightly smaller than my card base, but this was kind of an afterthought. But I think that's so pretty. How gorgeous is that? Positive and the negative. You could actually layer them together. I'm not going to use this for a card today because it doesn't go with my theme. But like I said, this was a hindsight. But it's an option on what to do with your negative pieces. So, options are always nice. So we have our foiled elements. I'm going to go ahead and trim these down, and then I'm going to take my essential diamonds and we're going to use some vellum. I'm going to be using the Spellbinders vellum sheets, and I'm going to cut out a few pieces of vellum here. And then what we're going to do is take one size or a couple sizes smaller, so you can see here, and then we'll go here. So a couple sizes smaller, but I'm going to die cut this out with white cardstock. So I'm going to die cut and I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and die cut out my vellum and also my white cardstock. This one I actually went a little bit small, a little bit larger. I thought I would need a little bit larger surface, so I went one up, just so a little bit of the vellum was exposed. And then this one, I just kept the same two that I used. So we have our sentiments die cut out. I mentioned I was going to trim them, but the Holiday Sentiment Series Glimmer hot foil plates have dies that you can use to cut these out, so it makes it very easy. Then we have our backgrounds, so I'll put these off to the side, put my vellum and my sentiments up here, and for these I thought we would add a little texture. We're going to use an embossing folder from Spellbinders. This is the A2 Forever Green embossing folder, and I'm going to run both of these through. Maybe I can do it at one time. And I'm going to emboss both of these. So we have 2 embossed diamonds. You can see the little evergreen on there. And I'm going to keep them white today. I just wanted a little something extra in the background. I don't want to take away from this. This is so pretty. So let's adhere our embossed diamonds to our vellum diamonds. And then we're going to create some pies. With my Pie Perfection collection, we're going to be using perfect pies. We're going to be using Dish It Up. Love this. And then we're going to be embellishing with our delicious decorations. This is such a fabulous set because it goes for all seasons. I can probably put all seasons in here that you can imagine. There's holly and there's berries. Those are what we're going to use for our cards today. And so I picked out some cardstock, and we're going to do a bit of die cutting. I'm going to die cut out all my pies at once. We're going to make 2 cards. So we'll die cut out all my pies, 2 cards, 4 pies. Now I'm going to die cut out 4 pie tins with silver mirror, a fork and a knife from my Dish It Up. And then from Dish It Up, I'm going to die cut out a gold mirror pie server. Pie server, I don't know if I'm saying that right. We're going to take the holly from our delicious decorations. There's 2 different holly leaves, and I'm going to mix and match them with fern and also with the rainforest. I'm going to take my little oval for my plate and I cut that out with white cardstock, and then with pomegranate, real pretty red. It's the same color we used for our foiling. I'm going to die cut out my holly berries. This is a 3-berry cluster from Delicious Decorations, and then using my perfect pies, I'm going to die cut out some red pomegranate pie bases with my portobello, perfect for pie crust. So I'll take my pie crust here. We need 4 of them, so I'll die cut out 4, but I do want to do a little bit of layering to add dimension to my pie crust, so I'm going to die cut out some of those with white cardstock along with my whipped cream. And then there's a little dollop of whipped cream here. I'm going to die cut that out 5 times. And then I have the lattice crust. We got to die cut that out with our portobello. Now 2 pies are going to be with the red. 1 pie is going to be a crust-topped pie. So to do that, I'm going to use the pie base, and then this little piece, we need some vents. We're going to take this and put this here, and it's going to die cut out some vents in that pie. And so let's die cut out 3 of these with the red too, so we can put 1 behind it. So I have a lot of die cutting to do. When I'm done, we're going to bake some pies. So for my first pie, this is the items that I die cut out. I have some holly leaves, and then I have 5 of those white dollops, and then we have the red pie base, and then we have our pie crust. This is the little venting that we did. I am going to bring in my craft mat and my finger dauber, and we're going to do a little bit of ink blending, and I'm going to use some ground espresso. We're going to toasty up the edges of our pie. Since this is a crust-topped pie, I kind of want it golden. Any kind of brown ink you have would work. And then we have our pie crust here. I'm going to go ahead and put, I like to say it's a happy face. The shape of it on the very bottom is where I'm going to put the ink. I think I need new daubers when they start doing the fraying. You know, it's time. It's been a while. They've lasted quite a bit of time. Okay, so we have a little bit of ink blending on our crust. I'm going to keep this because we'll do a little bit more blending. But to create the pies is so easy. We're going to start with the crust. I die cut out 3 extra pieces because we're going to do a little bit of layering. Let's add some adhesive to the back of one. Layer one right behind it. And then you get a nice little... Basically, if you wanted to die cut one of these out with the pop-up foam sheets, you could. But sometimes the cardstock just gives it a stability, especially when you ship it. I have 3 layered together. We're going to go ahead and add some adhesive to the top, and then I'll add my brown crust layer. And so we have some dimension here. Now I'm going to take my, whether it's cherry or apple pie, I'm going to go ahead and use my tape runner, add it. Next, I'm going to add adhesive to my red piece, and we're going to layer our pie crust right on top, just so you don't have to put the whole thing. You could put a little piece of red cardstock behind that little vent, and it would work the same. But after we have this done, I'm going to add adhesive to the very bottom. We're going to take our metal pie tin that has some embossed detail or etched detail, and then we're going to layer this on the very bottom. So it looks a little bit more even. There's our pie. We have to add our, before we add our pie crust here, I'm going to put adhesive behind it. And then what we're going to do is put our dollops right behind our pie crust. And then we're going to overlap them. I chose 5. I think that's a good number. 1 in the middle, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Should be perfectly spaced. And there is our little dollops. Since we added dollops, I got to add a little bit more tape. And then we're going to take our pie crust, add that to our pie tin. So we have a cute little whipped cream dollop pie here. Really cute. I am going to embellish this pie with some holly leaves. I glued my berry to the darker green, and then I'm going to add another one the same size here, and then I'm going to add one more smaller one, and I'm going to flip this over. We're going to add some foam adhesive behind our holly, put it right in the middle so it secures them. And then we can add this. I'm going to put this off to the side. And that pie is good to go. I'm going to keep these for our next project. We're going to make another pie that's a little bit different. For my next pie, I already layered my 3 white pieces of cardstock to my pie crust. And I just need to have a little bit of color on the bottom. So we'll go over our crust. And we have the lattice we die cut out for this pie. And I'm going to add a little shading to the top of this. And then we can go ahead and build this pie. Again, it's very easy. I'm going to add adhesive to the bottom of my red. Tack down my pie crust. I'm going to add adhesive behind my pie crust. But before we add that, we're going to add our lattice. And the lattice will line up perfectly over the dome shape of your pie. And then you can add your crust over the bottom. Like so. And then for our pie topper, I already created my little holly leaves. I'm going to pop these up with some foam squares. So that pie's done. 2 different pies so far, but we're going to make one more for my next pie. For my next pie, we're going to make one with the whipped topping. So we're going to take the topping that we die cut out, and I'm going to use my tape runner. We're going to add adhesive at the very bottom of our red. Add our pie tin. Take our pie crust that I layered again 3 together. Add adhesive behind here. We're going to add our pie crust. I'm taping it on my craft mat because I don't want to get tape on my my mat. It's really hard to get off of my mat. But there is this pie so far. And then what we're going to do with this one, we're going to add whipped cream. So let's use our tape runner. Tape our whipped cream down. And then I didn't mention it earlier on when we were doing die cutting, but in our perfect pies, there's a little die that creates some chips, like chocolate chips or cherry chips. So I took that and die cut out quite a few. These are really little, but if you use your glue, it's pretty quick. What I'm going to do for this is just add little dots of glue where I want it on my whipped topping. Hopefully I die cut enough out. And then we're going to add some cherry chips. I think it goes really good with Christmas. The nice thing about these is you can put them every which way, because that's what we do when we sprinkle the chips. So there are our little cherry chips. So 3 different pies. Pretty neat. Now to create my background, I'm going to take some wood grain pattern paper. Just using my paper trimmer. I'm going to trim about 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch. And then we're going to take our lovely background. Since this is a card front panel, we're going to put the entire thing on the front of our card base. So once this is covering our card front, we're going to go ahead and take our wood grain, and I'm going to put this on the very bottom, just using my tape runner. Trim off the excess. And then I have our large diamond. This is going to go here. I don't know if Spellbinder still has this, but you get a lot in here, and it's so plaid. It's from Fun Stepper's Journey. If they do, I'll put it down in the description area. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie the bow off to the right. If you wanted to tie a knot to make it less bulky, you could. So we have some plaid ribbon. I just love plaid. I'm going to trim off the tail here. And then we're going to take our, I might scoot this over just a little bit more. Okay. And then we're going to take our pies, flip them over. I am going to pop these up with some foam adhesive, making sure it's centered. And then this pie, we're going to go towards the top. So we have a pie layer. I think it looks so fun. Can never get paper and baking. It's just so fun. Okay, now we're going to take our silverware, and I like to layer the fork, kind of crisscrossing it over the knife. And then we'll add a little adhesive, like so. And then I like to tuck this under my ribbon. How about that? It's so cute. Okay, so for the most part this is done. I do need to add some gems, and I'm going to be using my red color essential gems, and my sentiment too. Let's add our gems first, and then we'll add our sentiment. Okay, put these off to the side. So we have some sparkle in there. Those, the middle berries, not the largest, but the second to the largest, fit perfectly on that berry trio. You can see there. Now, if you want to put some glitter on the top, you could. Next, we'll add our sentiment. And I put foam adhesive on the left and the right because I knew it was going to go over my whipped topping here. And that will finish my card number 1. For my next card, we're going to take our vellum and then our background. We'll glue our background to our card base. Before I adhere it, I want to trim this down. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off the side. Okay, we trimmed this down. I took a 1/2 inch off the right side, and then I'm going to take some more of that wood grain paper. I need a 1/2 inch strip of this. And so we'll trim that down. We'll actually go 3/4 inch. This way we can tuck our foil behind it. I'll add some adhesive. This is going to go all the way to the right. So now we have a side folding card. I can take my panel and we can attach this to the front of our side folding card. And then I can add ribbon along this edge. So let's take some more of our Plaid ribbon. And now we're going to take our diamond. This is going to go in the middle here. We have our pie server. We have our plate that I'm going to tack down my pie to. And I made this one basically the same as we did this one here. I just added more holly on the top, added a little more green. And I'm going to add this one. Okay. We tucked our little pie server. There's my little holly leaves. And then our sentiment. Well, what do we want? We have Merry Christmas from me to you. I think that's what we're going to add. 2 of them. Or should we do 'Tis the Season? Let's just add 'Tis the Season. Because it's pie season, right? So let's add some foam adhesive behind here. This is going to go on the bottom. Kind of centering it. And then we have our gems that we can add to our berries. So that will finish off my cards today using a few items from the Glimmer collection. I hope this gives you some ideas. These are making cute little cards for handing out pies this holiday season. But have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me.